Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
It's a reminder that we are not safe.
Now at 10, a horrific attack seemingly targeted at one population. Just what happened in Colorado and how it's impacting people here in Connecticut. Plus, an ongoing manhunt for a Naugatuck man accused of killing a baby girl. He received 2 new charges tonight, and we'll break it down for you.
Plus, a January chill in the air tonight, but a milder trend in time for Thanksgiving. The holiday forecast ahead.
And with that chill coming, people across the state are putting their home heating into overdrive with rising electricity rates. Some ideas that might help you save. The Fox 61 News at 10 starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Carmen Chow. The country woke up to disturbing news this morning after 5 people were shot and killed in Colorado Springs. 25 more were injured. It happened at the Club Q, an LGBTQ nightclub in the city, just minutes before the start of today's Transgender Day of Remembrance. The shooter was taken down by 2 heroes who managed to stop the rampage before police arrived on scene and arrested them. Police are now trying to find a motive.
The motive of the crime is part of the investigation, and whether this was a hate crime is part of that investigation. Club Q is a safe haven for our LGBTQ citizens. Every citizen has the right to feel safe and secure in our city.
Protests and memorials for the victims have been springing up across the country, including in New York City's Stonewall Inn, a bar synonymous with the fight for LGBTQ rights in the U.S. Now, even though Colorado Springs is 2,000 miles away from Hartford here, what happened Saturday night has impacted the LGBTQ community here in Connecticut as well. Today is also Transgender Day of Remembrance, where communities gather to honor the trans people murdered. Fox 61's Tony Black joins us in the studio tonight, where he attended a service in memory of them. Tony?
Yeah, Carmen, the murders of 5 people at an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Saturday have hit the LGBTQ community here in Connecticut. Today, as you mentioned, is Transgender Day of Remembrance, one where people are supposed to lift each other up, but now this community feels attacked.
With the tragedy that we woke up to this morning with the Colorado shooting, and it's just one more example of how ignorance is just running rampant.
Members of the LGBTQ community gathering at the Metropolitan Community Church of Hartford Sunday for the 24th annual Transgender Day of Remembrance. Reverend Aaron Miller says the day is about lifting up the nearly 70 trans people killed across the country in the last year.
This is a time, and even with last night's shooting in Colorado, that we're keenly aware of being ourselves authentically for who we are and who we love is at great risk.
A 22-year-old gunman shot and killed 5 people at a Colorado Springs LGBTQ nightclub Saturday night and injured dozens more before he was stopped by people in the bar. They're being called heroes. West Hartford's Aiden Whittle says he woke up in tears.
Today's been miserable. Tonight we know we're lifting up and remembering, and we're in unity. This morning, waking up to the news, I was all alone. I was in my apartment by myself, and it's just very, very hard to hear once again something has happened to our community.
Reverend Miller says the mass shooting left him heartbroken. He says it serves as a reminder the LGBTQ community is not safe.
It's a pain and it's a grieving that we don't ever survive. I mean, we learn to live with.
The club where it happened called it a hate attack. Police are working to determine the motive and whether to pursue hate crime charges.
Where we thought we were making progress, today doesn't feel like we've made enough.
The Reverend says it's made to be difficult to live one's true self, and it shouldn't. He says God is about love for all.
We are loved unconditionally by this God who created us.
The Reverend says this shooting just reiterates the fact there's more work to be done to make everyone feel safe and comfortable being who they are. He says the best way to do that is by doing it together. In the studio, Tony Black, Fox 61 News.
All right, terrible news. Thanks, Tony. The hunt is still on for a man police say killed a 1-year-old girl in Naugatuck on Friday. Police now charging 31-year-old Christopher Francis Sweeney with murder with special circumstances, as well as risk of injury to a minor. Take a look at your screen there. Police are looking for 31-year-old Christopher Francis Sweeney, last believed to have been seen in New Haven on Friday. And as a reminder, Francis Sweeney is considered dangerous, so if you see him, do not approach. Immediately dial 911. A 5-car crash on Highland Avenue in Cheshire has left one person dead and multiple people injured. It happened Saturday just after 4:15 p.m. Police say a car veered into the opposite lane before crashing into 4 separate cars in the northbound lane. The passenger of that first car died in the hospital. 3 other people had to be transported to the hospital, and no word yet on their condition. State police are still investigating. And turning now to the Weather Watch, take a look at this. A few flakes in Hartford early this morning, setting the scene for the upcoming holidays. Here's meteorologist Ryan Breton joining us right now. Ryan, it might be cold and windy, but I'll take that any day over that snow in Buffalo.
Yeah, you know, the flakes we had there, Carmen, you could barely see them. That was what was left of those lake effect snow showers as they traveled all the way from Ontario and Lake Erie to us here in southern New England. And there is one big lake effect snow shower that extends pretty far to the west from Berkshire County in Massachusetts all the way back to Lake Ontario, but none of that in Connecticut at the moment, and most of that action, like those flurries and snow showers this morning, will be drying up. But it is cold. 30 the actual air temperature right now in Hartford, 29 in Meriden, 27 in Chester and Norwich, but it is still gusty too. A steady wind between 5 and 10 miles per hour, making it feel more like the teens to low 20s out there tonight. And it will be cold first thing in the morning. Out at the bus stop, sunshine, but actual air temperatures in the low 20s. The wind chill will be in the teens. Tomorrow afternoon, plenty of sunshine, a couple of degrees warmer than today, but still a bit of a breeze. So even though we'll get to about 40, the wind chill during the day tomorrow only in the 30s at best. There is a big warm up in sight though as we head toward Thanksgiving. We'll talk about how warm it gets and the travel forecast too coming up.
Ryan, thank you. Some Connecticut homeowners are exploring new ways to stay warm this winter, with heating costs expected to rise significantly. Both Eversource and United Illuminating have filed for rate increases that could have you paying about $80 to $85 more each month starting in January. As families look to stretch their dollar, local landscape construction companies like Torsen Stone and Garden in Durham say they've seen more interest in natural stone. The stone veneers can be installed around a fireplace or other places around the home.
What it actually does is it actually holds the temperature that you're creating in your house longer, right? So we're adding another layer essentially to a sheetrock wall or to a or to a brick foundation or a stone foundation or a concrete foundation. We're adding another layer of insulation to that.
Help with your heating bill is available for income-eligible households through the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program. Another resource, Operation Fuel, which works to provide emergency energy assistance. You can find information about both programs on the links page of our website, fox61.com. And with prices as high as they are, a church in Hartford is making sure everyone has access to a turkey this Thanksgiving. A Walk in the Light Church of God teamed up with Truth Justice Intervention, LLC, Mornalt's Stackpole Moore Tryon, and Temple Beth Hillel for their annual turkey distribution event. In total, they were able to hand out 150 turkeys for this Thursday's big dinner.
And especially in this economy now, folks are, really are on a tight budget. And so every little bit helps. They're very excited, and we're excited to just be here in the community this time to help them out.
The church will also be hosting 120 people for a hot meal on Thanksgiving Day at noon. For more information, give them a call at 860-839-6627. The Old Saybrook Police Department held their annual Give the Cops a Bird event today at Stop and Shop. With food prices on the rise and turkey prices at the highest price ever, the department wanted to make sure all families have a warm Thanksgiving meal. Last year, they collected over 700 turkeys, and yesterday they collected 400, but they needed more to beat last year's number. And on the topic of turkeys, meet Chocolate and Chip. These two birds are getting set up to receive an official president pardon tomorrow. They are from North Carolina and are spending the night in a hotel room before the big day. Turkey pardons are one of the more bizarre traditions in the U.S., but have a history dating all the way back to President Abraham Lincoln. The Naugatuck Animal Control and Ambulance had a food drive this morning for their human and animal friends. The event took place in front of the Walmart on New Haven Road. People dropped off tons of pet foods and animal toys, filling up trunks of cars and the ambulance itself. All donations will go to the Ecumenical Food Bank and Naugatuck Animal Control.